Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Star Wars Stuff podcast, where we talk about all things Star Wars. My name is James,
I'm Mary.
and yeah, here we are. It's a little weird. I know it's middle of the day on a Monday. We usually record these things later, but we figured we'd just jump on now and record. But before we get started, we have some amazing people to thank. We have our awesome top tier patrons Liam McCallion, Kevin Leiniger, Devin McCaffrey, Zach Netzel, Maya Morris, Adam Haber, Front Row King, Cam from Indiana, Mariana Atia Arnold, Resk Jedi 27, Alex Blundell, Indiana Solo, BC Dumit, and Sean Smith. Thank you so much for supporting us and helping us out on Patreon. Alrighty then. So I guess let's just jump into it.
Oh,
You
well,
know
no. Absolutely
what?
not. We have
What?
to address something that everyone is going to instantly see this video and go, what
What?
the heck is
Oh,
happening here? We have to
yes.
address that first.
Um, is it the change in appearance? Is that what you're
Your
saying?
hair is
Okay.
gone.
Yes, my
It's just
hair is
gone.
gone. My long hair has disappeared. Um, well, so here's the story. It was really hot in California
Oh,
about
still
2
really
weeks
hot.
ago. It's still really hot, but it got like kind of unbearably hot. And I'm used to the warm weather, but I'm not used to the warm weather when I had my long hair because I never did that when I lived in Texas. And so this was one of those things that I said, you know what? I can at least change one thing about this. And so, yeah, I went last week and got myself a nice haircut. And the beard, I kept the beard because I know once I shave the beard, people don't want to listen to the podcast anymore.
Stop
So
it.
I kept the beard this time. But yeah, this might be the look for me from now on. I know the long hair
I
look
don't
was
believe you.
no,
I don't
I
believe you at all because you say that too when you shave your beard. You're like, no, this is it now. I don't want to have a beard anymore. And literally
well,
3 weeks later, you're just like a werewolf again.
thank you. It's a gift. But no, with the beard, it's one of those things I could take off and get back on, no problem. But with
You could do
hair,
that with your hair too.
but the how long it was, it would take a while. It would take a long time to get back to that length that it was. So yes, thank you for pointing it out. The bantha in the
So
room.
so for
Yeah.
me, it's not a big shock because I've been hanging out with you all weekend
Yes.
basically. But I knew as soon as we were going to podcast, I was like, if someone doesn't say it, I'm saying it.
Well, thank you for bringing it. I was just gonna go on, just pretend like
Correct.
nothing was wrong.
How
But
dare you?
but yes, this is my look, and I need new headshots now because all my headshots for when I sent out the auditions are my long hair look. So now I have to get
Yep.
my short hair audition
If only had a
headshots.
friend who was a photographer.
Yeah, if only we'll talk
If
about that
only I
later.
had a friend.
If only I had a friend is the story. But we had the great fortune this past weekend to go to WonderCon, which
Woo.
takes place in Anaheim at the Anaheim Convention Center, which is literally across the street from the Incredicoaster. So if you're ever on the Incredicoaster and you go up really high and you look to your either your right or your left, either one, you're gonna see the Anaheim Convention Center just right there. Um, and this was my first time going to WonderCon. Have you ever been to WonderCon before, Mary, or is this your first time as well?
No, this is my first time going to WonderCon. Um, I my first convention ever was Celebration. What was
No
that? A
way.
year,
I always
almost a
so
year ago.
I remember you said that, but I think maybe I
Many
misheard you.
times.
I always thought you said this was like your first like celebration, but you'd
No,
been
no,
to
no.
conventions. So that was your first ever convention was Star Wars Celebration in Japan.
In Japan, yeah. So that
Whoa.
was my
And then
first. Since then, it's just been nonstop.
I was gonna say, yeah, because then you did LA Comic Con like
Mhm.
almost a couple of months later, and you ran into Haley, who was a friend of
Yeah.
ours,
Hi,
and
Haley.
now you did yeah, hello, and then
Oh,
David's listening right now.
yeah. And this
Oh
is the
yeah,
hat I got from LA Comic Con from the
there we go.
producer of X-Men 97.
Which is pretty amazing. That's a good
Yeah.
story to tell people.
Yeah.
Thank you for listening, or David. We appreciate that. And then, so you did LA Comic Con, and then now then you did WonderCon, and we
Yeah.
want to give a shout out to WonderCon because they allowed us to go as press. That was really really awesome. That was really nice of them. and I didn't know what to expect. I'd heard of WonderCon because a good friend of mine, she had gone before, and she always would bring it up like, "Hey, are you gonna go to WonderCon this year?" And I was like, no." Not no, it was just because I was always too busy to go, but this was one of those years, and I was like, I can make time to do this." What was your impression when you got to WonderCon?
So I didn't know anything about WonderCon before we went. So I kind of just assumed it was going to be like a small version of LA Comic Con because that's what I would, like, that's what I understand from a convention. I wouldn't call Celebration a traditional convention, so I didn't think it'd be much like that, but I was like, "Okay, it's probably gonna be a little bit like LA Comic-Con, but maybe on a smaller scale." It was not on a smaller scale in a lot
Oh.
of ways, but it was in a smaller scale in a lot of other ways. So,
Mhm.
for me, that was kinda my first impression walking in was, like, going, "Whoa," like, the floor of vendors is wild here. Like, LA wasn't like this at all.
I will say going in and having been I've been to a few conventions, but, like, walking in, I was expecting something a little bit smaller, which
Mhm.
immediately walking in, I said, "Oh, no, this is not a small convention. This is a pretty decent size convention." Like, there were a
Yeah.
lot of people there, and what I love about these conventions, I love Star Wars Celebration. I think if you're a Star Wars fan,
Yeah.
Star Wars Celebration is the one to go to. But one thing about going to regular conventions that's really nice is that there's so
Oh,
many different fandoms. What do you got?
I was gonna say, can I guess what it is? But you already
What
said
is
it.
it?
Just
Oh,
kidding.
yeah,
The fandom.
it's the fandoms. There were so many
So
amazing
many.
cosplays and so many different fandoms, and Mary and I were talking, we were like, "Do First off, we don't I don't watch anime, and
Yeah.
that's one of those things, and here's the thing, this is one of those things, it's like, I know I will love it. I know that I will love the story, the structure, the characters, everything in an
Y
anime.
you already are introduced to it through Visions. You really enjoyed
Exactly.
Visions too, right? Yeah.
I loved Visions. I loved the storytelling. I love the artwork. It's so great. The imagination of these writers is amazing. But the reason I don't get involved is because I already have a few things that I'm, like, really passionate about, and if I were to
Yeah.
introduce anime to it, it's over. Like, I'm not doing
D
anything all day. But,
Oh, yeah. You
the
know what?
different what's up?
I was gonna say, I think that was probably one of my favorite things overall, is just everyone was so expressive of their fandom. Like,
Yes.
we were walking around, I think there were so many points where I was like, both of us looked at each other and go like, "Do you know what that's from?" "No, but that looks super cool." "Do you know what
Yes.
that's from?" Like, "Oh my god, there's so much attention to detail in that costume and everything like that." Like, people and it varied. It varied from, like, the extreme stuff to the really simple stuff. I think, like, the Wicked group was so
Yes.
much fun because it was, like, all over the place. There was, like, maybe 3 Glindas and stuff like yeah, exactly, but it was all very different at the same time. So I thought that was really fun.
Yeah, yeah, we noticed that too because we were like, "Okay, I recognize this character from this anime," and then someone else had, like, something similar on, and it was like, "Oh, it's the same thing," but you can just tell. Oh, nice. Is that a friend of
For
yours?
that's Austin.
Oh, it's I was like, "Wait a minute." I
So
was like,
we
"You have to
share
know
this
this
hat.
person."
We share this
Awesome.
hat.
It's a good
So
hat. I'm really
it's it's the ongoing joke in our marriage of it's not really his, it's always mine, but it's actually his.
Oh, okay, this makes more sense now. So now going forward, we're not even gonna see you wearing it. We're like, "Okay, obviously he took it back." But, thanks for watching me.
He'll try.
Yeah. But it was really great seeing the different fandoms, but one thing that stood out, and it may be because I was looking for it, but then after a while, I was like, "I'm not looking for it anymore, it's there." There were a lot of Star Wars cosplayers at this
Tons of
convention.
Mandalorians
How many different Mandalorians there were insane, and
and the
you had
different versions.
Yes, you had some who
Mhm.
were, like, sticking straight to the movie and to the shows. You know, they got Boba Fett, and then they have Mandalorian, and they have, you know, other Mandalorians that are featured in the shows. But then you had some who made gave it their own style, their own version
Yeah.
of and it was really cool. That was a really cool thing to see how many different types of Mandalorian armor, there was, and do I have the picture? I think I may have oh, yeah, here. We took this picture outside of, one of the panels, and as you can see, some of
Oh,
them look
yeah.
traditional, but then some of them are it's their own style. It's their own style of how they wanted to, you know, express themselves as a Mandalorian, and so I
Mhm.
thought that one was really crazy was and then, my favorite, though, was, like, seeing a Joker Mandalorian,
That one
uh,
was good, and the Harley
that was
Quinn.
a Harley Quinn Mandalorian. I
The Queen of
saw
Hearts and the Cheshire Cat
yes.
Mandalorians.
Yeah, you got that picture, right? You took that picture with them,
I
I
did take a
remember,
picture with them,
and,
yeah.
there was and I think that's what made it so much fun. I think I even saw, like, a no, no, it wasn't a bat it was the Joker Mando really got my attention.
Mhm.
I was like, "That's pretty cool." And yeah.
If you had to I think okay, I wanna say I think the most cosplay I saw consistently was Mandalorians. Outside of that, I think I saw a few stormtroopers,
Yeah.
and that was really the biggest representation of Star Wars. I think I saw, like, one kid who dressed up as Rey, one couple I saw a few Anakins before Darth, and I saw maybe, like, 2 Padmes and, like, 1 or 2 Leias, but, like, no, actually, I don't remember even think I saw Leias. I think I just saw a lot of Padmes.
I saw a few Padmes. I didn't
Yeah,
see a Leia. I saw some
yeah,
Luke Skywalkers. Uh,
okay.
no Han Solos.
I saw
No
one Han
you
Solo.
saw 1 Han Solo.
I saw
Okay,
a female Han Solo.
nice.
Yeah.
Um, no Chewbacca, which I was waiting to see in the crowd, a huge person walking around as Chewbacca.
Well, we saw the Chewbacca
The
statue
statue that was
thing.
terrifying. That was the scary like,
I
his
think
face was scary.
I think that was the Home Depot one that you were able to get at one point.
Oh, that's what that was. Yeah, so someone did have outside of their, booth a giant the giant, Chewbacca. But when I first looked at it, I was like, "Is this guy alive?" Then I was like, "Okay, it's a statue." I thought it was just a really still guy.
Well,
Um,
like,
yeah.
y I think outside of those, I think the next most seen cosplay like, the hard part is, like, there was a ton of anime, but
Mhm.
anime is so n like, they were very niche costumes. Like,
Yes.
very, very particular, not ones that like, I didn't see a Yu-Gi-Oh! I didn't see a lot of Ash Ketchums, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
I saw a
yeah.
lot of niche those, but, like, recognizable, a ton of Spider-Man, and I'm
Yes.
sure it's because the trailer dropped. Everyone pulled out their Spider-Man cosplays, and they were ready for it.
Yeah, I think for me, it was Star Wars and Spider-Man were, like, the
Yeah.
big the fir I mean, mind you, a ton of anime, but I don't know the specific, you know,
Yeah.
shows or, comics or manga that they read, but for me, it was, yeah, a lot of Star Wars and a lot of Spider-Man and different variations of Spider-Man too, and I don't know, it was fun, and I was telling Mary, I was like, "The atmosphere here is really" it felt safe. It
Yeah.
felt everybody was there to have a good time, and it was real there was no drama, there was there was nothing, it was just everyone was there having the time of their life, and, the picture I took we were up on there's a balcony, which I didn't know about until we were like, "Oh, let's go out on this balcony." We took a picture.
Yeah.
Uh, what you don't see is right below us, is a lot of people dressed up just taking pictures with other people. Like, in that's
Yeah.
what I loved was people where you saw tripods placed up, you know, people, of course, you have
Mhm.
creators there doing their weird dances, you know, we don't wanna judge them, but it was kinda judgy. But then you also have others who were genuinely going up to people, "Hey, can I get a picture with you? Can I get a picture with you?"
Oh,
And I was
yeah, and everyone
like,
was so about it. I don't
"Oh,
think there
yeah."
was a single person so I always like to ask. I won't just, like, take pictures of people, but I was wearing my Ray-Ban Metas and everything, so it wasn't, like, very obvious, like, I had my phone out to take a picture of someone, so I always really try to make sure I ask, and so in every single person, I was like, "Hey, can I take your picture?" They're like, "Yes, absolutely." Like, they were so about it, and then every single one of them was like, "Come take the picture with me." Like,
Yeah.
it wasn't just like, "Just take my picture and post it," kinda thing. It was very much like, "Come be a part of this community. Be a part of the picture," and stuff like that, which I thought was really, really nice. But, you know what, to be fair, but Cross Celebration, LA Comic Con, and WonderCon, that's the environment.
Yes.
Everybody is so, like, welcoming and excited and happy, and, like, you'll hear, like, we sat at a table with some droid builders and stuff, like, we were just looking for an empty seat to have lunch, and we're like, "Can we sit here?" And we all just started talking, and we all started joking and everything like that, and it's, like, very much community vibes of, like, "Come join, let's learn from each other. Tell me what you're about," and stuff like that, and all that. So that's always, I think, the funnest part of
Oh,
conventions.
yeah.
Yeah.
Agreed, 100%. And if you're on the fence of ever going to a convention, if you think it's too big or I don't know, if you have any trepidations about going to a convention, I highly recommend going to WonderCon because
Mhm.
it's not one fandom, it's everybody. Everyone you whatever your thing is, whatever you love, it's gonna you'll probably see 5 other people, maybe even more there dressed up the same or wearing a similar shirt or something like that.
Yeah.
I do not cosplay. So I enjoy, the just I don't know, the passions people have that they can just do this and they build these
Yeah.
things. And one of the panels we went to was the droid building panel.
Yeah.
If you're on YouTube watching, so here's a picture. These are all their droids that they brought. And no, the battle droid does not walk. That was one of the things that I
It's
kind of
not
was
automatic. It's
yeah,
like, it's a
yeah,
still.
yeah.
So
All
it's
the other droids function. Like,
yeah.
stupidly well,
So this
and
panel was called Droid 101, Droid Building 101. So it was like
yeah,
real basics, really introing it. Because I think everybody who at least listens to this podcast has at one point or another been like, I would love to have a droid. And after going to this panel, I was like, "Oh, I could so easily do this." Like, it and it's not just about, like, build like, you don't need to know a lot about electronics. You don't need to know a lot about engineering or etcetera, things like that. You just have to join the right Facebook group and ask the right questions because, again, like, another community that's all about it and stuff. They just want everyone to be successful and creative and help each other and stuff. So, it's like, I think the best thing I heard at that panel was like, get an RC from Walmart, like an RC car, get some cardboard, paint it, decorate it like a mouse droid, and you've built your first droid. And I was like, and it cannot be that simple. And it
yeah,
is.
when he said that, I was like, "Oh, wow, that's very, very true," and it's like and then after the cardboard, and then you can now start to do other things, and you can start to add lights here, you can start and then you gotta start figuring out, "Oh, how does this light get powered?" And then before you know it, you and, one of the guys there said YouTube
Yeah.
uh, is a great school to go to because so many people have great tutorials on, like, how to get this light working, how to do this, and one
What
thing
color wire goes to what color wire
yes.
goes to where and stuff,
Yep.
right? You know what I thought was so funny in my mind? I was like, if you can put together a piece of IKEA furniture and follow directions doing that, you can easily build a droid.
Yeah.
And the and droids vary. Like, you can have one that does nothing, you can have one that plays music, you can have one that, you wear, right? Like,
Mhm.
C-3PO is a droid that you build as an armor, and you are the, like, functioning mechanics of it kinda piece.
Which I love,
Yeah, I
and
thought that was
it
great.
it made me not terrified of the idea of building a droid, and,
Yeah.
I mean, but I will say these guys have been doing it for years, so them just kinda throwing away like, "Oh, yeah, just basic tools, you're fine." Yeah, just I'm like, "Dude, I know you think it's easy, but for someone like me, that's, like, the craziest thing what you're saying right now, so,
One of the questions was like, "What tools should you always have?" Like, "What are base tools?" They're like, "A screwdriver,
yeah, a
an Allen
screwdriver and
wrench."
a Allen wrench and a wire, I forget what he called it, but
I
he
don't
goes, "That's
know.
really all you need."
And
And
I was
I'm
like,
like,
"No,
"Really?"
that's
I was
not
like, "No, I
true
think
because I have
there's a
all
few
those
more
things and I can't
tools
do it."
there's a few more tools I think you're missing here, man." But,
A 3D printer apparently is, like, the route to go.
yes,
I didn't
and they
realize how
all
affordable they were.
oh, yeah.
Yeah,
I
you
mean, you
had
can
no
go
idea.
crazy. You can go
Yeah,
crazy with these things, but yeah, starting off, it's not that bad, getting one, and, yeah, they talked about 3D printing things and how they said, "Yeah, we all have a 3D printer now, and that makes things so much easier than back in the day," which blows me away how they used to build these droids back in the
yeah.
day. Um, one thing one of the guys said, which made me just go, "That is the craziest thing I've ever heard." He said,
Uh,
"When you're doing a movie, like Lucasfilm, when they're doing a movie and they have a
oh,
droid,
yeah.
they'll make like 5 different droids for the part. Like if you remember BB-8, which is another good story I'll bring up later. But when you think of BB-8, you realize there's a couple of different versions of BB-8 that they built for the movie. There's the one that the guy literally runs behind pushing him and he goes. There's one that has like a third that has a wheel behind him that's helping him not roll backwards, and there's like a right to left, left to right. Like there's many different versions of BB-8 that they use for the movies and any other droid. But
Yeah,
with
depending on what
these,
they needed to do in
yeah,
that
yeah,
scene.
yeah. And if you need BB-8 to be picked up, you're gonna build one that has nothing in it, and they can easily pick him up and put him somewhere.
Correct.
Um, but these guys, he said you can have 5 different droids, 5 different types of droids just to do one certain thing each. He goes, "When we build our droids, we have to have them do 5 different things with just one droid." So, which I thought was insane. So, the way
Mhm.
he made it sound was like, yeah, what they're doing is cool. They have a big budget, but what we're doing is also insane because we only can build one of these things and it has to be able to look and do all the things that you're used to it doing in the movie. And the great story that I loved was he said when the first teaser trailer of The Force Awakens came out and they
Yeah.
showed that second and a half shot of BB-8 rolling, all the droid community, they said online, everybody was like, "How did they
Every
do that?"
Facebook group.
And
No,
they
every
said,
Facebook group was
yeah, yeah.
like, "Okay, now how do we build it?"
Well, no, no. First, it was how did they do it? And then they were like, well, it has to be digital. There's no way
Yeah.
that that is even physically possible to do. And then Celebration 2015, they rolled out that BB-8 unit or the BB unit onto the stage, and the BB-8 was rolling. And there he was in person rolling. Head was still in the same spot. The ball was moving. And that was when they said all the Facebook forums turned into, okay, how do you build it? Now
Yeah.
we can see that they actually built it. Now we have to build one. And,
Yeah.
that was a big challenge for them in the droid building community. But the one that got me, so if you're looking on YouTube, so you see BB-8 there, and the
Mhm.
one next to it, it was called Zero, and
CC0.
CC0 was his name, but they kept referring to him as Zero. And the droid builder there, he's one of the white shirt. He said he built him just as a challenge, because
Mhm.
he built BB-8 right there next to him, and was like, okay, but what if he didn't have the ball for the head to stick on? How do you make this work? And that's how he built that thing, was just as a challenge. And that droid was incredible to watch roll around, and it
Oh, yeah.
fully functional droid. There's a great video I got of Mary interacting
And
with it, but I deleted
that
it
droid
because
was so cute.
it was really cute, and
Yeah.
it's one of those droids that you see that you're like, "Oh, that could totally be in a Star Wars movie,
Mhm.
and it would look like it belongs in Star Wars." And, yeah.
One nice thing I thought, so the video James is like talking about, so after each panel, the panelists will like go outside into the lobby area, so people can ask questions, interact, things like that. The nice thing too about like this group that did the panel also had booths. So you could go
Yeah.
downstairs to their booth and like interact with the droids, ask them questions, etc. All really fun. But outside they were operating the droids around in the lobby, and I literally got down on the floor and started talking to this droid, and I looked at the guy who owned it, and I was like, "Can I please hug your droid?" 'Cause I just it was so cute. I was like, "This droid is adorable. I need to hug it." And that's how I felt about, like, B2 Emo. I was all like, "I would come back for you, B2."
Yeah, B2
I
Emo was one of the like, he even moved side to side, like, he
Yeah,
didn't just
and
go
his
for, like,
head come out,
yeah, his
everything.
the middle move, like, it was a fully functional B2 Emo droid. Like it was one of
Yeah.
those things that I'm looking at. I'm like, was this used in the movie? Like, there's no way it wasn't used because of how well it moved. and some of their droids
Yeah.
have been featured in the movies and in the shows, which I thought was really interesting, is that
Yeah.
Lucasfilm understands what these guys do and understands the different types of droids that they build, and they say, "Hey, well, hey, you wanna put him in the can we have him in the movie and you can operate him?" And then there they are. So that I thought that was really cool that these droid builders, yeah, it's a hobby and it's fun. They love doing it, but Lucasfilm also will put those droids in the films. And I
So
thought
that's kind of like the deal they have, right? Because at the end of the day, it's intellectual property.
yes.
So basically, what they do is they have a deal with Lucasfilm and Disney saying, like, we will not use this for commercial use to gain financial gain from
Mhm.
it. The only time they use these droids, so basically Lucasfilm says, "Yeah, sure, you can build it. You can have it do whatever you want, but you can't make money off of it. So you can't like
Yes.
rent this droid for a party, anything like that." They like made it like super clear in that too. It's like a lot of times they will do um events, like charity events, etcetera, and then if Lucasfilm has something going on, they will say like, "Oh, hey, we have the Saturn Awards coming up, and we wanna do a droid walk. Who here is available?" And they, like, post it up on the Facebook forums, etcetera, all those things, and stuff, and be like, "Who's available to come do it?" So the gentleman who, his name was Darren, who was running the panel, his K2SO is the one that I was interacting with at the Saturn Awards. So if
That's
you go
so
to
great.
so if you go to Countdown City Geekcast on the website, there's like a video of me holding a K2SO's hand and introing what we were doing at the Saturn Awards and stuff like that. That's his K2SO and stuff. So I thought that was like, wow, full circle. Here we are,
Yes.
kind of thing. So like they do events, they do a lot of Make-A-Wish Foundation events, hospital events, things like that. And then they said it's like if you know one of the droid builders personally and stuff like that, and you ask them to bring the droid to like your wedding or your birthday party kind of thing. But again, like no financial gain.
They had a great picture of, R2-D2, I
Yeah.
believe, as the ring bearer at someone's
Yeah.
wedding,
Yeah.
um,
And the color scheme was white, silver, and blue. I thought that was
which
great.
I was like, "This is amazing." So, yeah, that was a really nice panel to go to because
Yeah. Super fun.
and, it was really it was a lot of fun. I learned a lot, but I don't know if I'm ever gonna build a droid, maybe. I realized I did not put any pictures up of the panel we went to on Friday for
Oh, no.
the creatures and, that panel. One of the highlights of that
Creatures and
panel,
puppeteering.
creatures and puppeteering, one of the highlights of that panel was one of the guys there, he said that they filmed a lot of crazy cool things for Skeleton Crew. There was a lot of amazing pirates that they built
Yeah.
and they had going for I think it was that second episode or the second or third episode of, Skeleton Crew, and
I
they s
I think it
it
was the one where they had the trial, Jod's
oh, okay,
trial, and he was
that one.
surrounded by pirates, yeah.
Yeah, and they said they filmed a lot that never made it. So there's a lot of
Mhm.
unused pirates and unused characters that were never seen that were fully built. And that was a really good panel as well. And all
That panel had a
also
lot of hard hitters too.
that yeah, and that panel was full. Like that panel, the room they put them
I
in
almost
was
got
one of
kicked
those
out.
rooms. Yeah. Luckily, I had your seat saved. I was like, "No, she's here." But
Yeah.
that was one of the it was one of those things where you're in there and they were like 10 I think it was like 15 minutes before, they said, "Hey, guys, it's gonna be a
Mhm.
full house, so y'all need to everyone needs to sit next to somebody." So everyone was sitting next to everybody and anybody,
Yeah, there's no empty seat.
and I was like, "They needed to put this one in a bigger room," because everyone there, as
Well,
Mary said, were
it was
heavy
2
hitters.
rooms. It
Yeah.
was 2 rooms opened up to each other. They needed to put it
Oh,
upstairs in a ballroom.
agreed,
Yeah.
because this was not yeah. But that one was really that was a really good one, and I'm excited. I'm so sorry I didn't bring the pictures, but,
Maybe I
if
can
you go to
find them.
if you go to our website and look, you'll actually see I wrote an article about that panel, and you know what I did wrong also when I took my pictures? I took them, using the highest resolution, so bringing them over, it's, like, impossible to bring over because nobody recognizes that stuff. Like they don't recognize. There we go. Oh, hey, there we go.
Hey!
That was finally the Rancor at the end.
Oh,
If you're
yeah.
watching YouTube, the Rancor on the far right, that guy was it belonged to somebody else who was there. He actually sat in front of us, and they like came out before the panel started and like, hey, can we bring the Rancor over here? And he goes, yeah, sure. And I thought that was really funny. He was dressed like the Rancor trainer, which I know he has a name from Return of the Jedi. I just don't know his name, but he had the whole thing going. And I thought that was actually pretty funny. But yeah, all these people on this panel, Chris Bartlett's there. He's the second one on the left.
I was to
Um,
say, do you want to go through and name some of these heavy hitters?
do you have their names?
You can't see them, but where the Jawa head is, that's Christine. She
Yes.
plays R2D2. So
Yes.
she is inside the R2D2 unit. She also played R5. She plays Jawas. Her and her husband both played Jawas on The Mandalorian. That you see in that iconic episode where they have the egg and you see Grogu use his powers for the first time. So she plays a lot of different characters. But what she's most famous for is definitely R2. The gentleman to the right of her, the next person over is Chris Bartlett, who plays Zero the Bounty Hunter, who plays C3PO. And who else did he play? I think he played someone else, right?
Yeah, he played, I believe, over 20 people. He's played over
Okay.
20 people in Star Wars.
Okay. Yeah, he's played a lot.
Yeah.
And
And then
then
there's 2 women sitting next to him. I don't think the other one, she was in there, when it started. They both work for Legacy, um,
yes. So the
building
next
the
one is Dawn.
okay, yeah.
Yeah, and she plays Max Rebo in
Yeah.
Mandalorian. So basically her all the way down to the right, everyone works for Legacy Effects
Yes.
and stuff. So if you don't know what Legacy Effects is, they create a lot of puppets and do like special effects work, etc. for Star Wars. And I believe other properties, right? Or is it specifically Star Wars?
Other properties, because the gentleman at the very end said that they built, suits for
Oh yeah.
Marvel as well, so
Yeah.
they've done a lot of stuff. Yeah.
Yeah. So she and the lady next to her, I forget her name. Oh my gosh, I'm so sorry.
Yeah, I don't have their
Um,
names, unfortunately.
so
Was it
they
Tamara or anyways, keep going.
I'm not sure, but she plays a lot of character creatures and stuff like that, but they also do a lot of puppeteering. So they do the puppeteering for Max Rebo, they did puppeteering for the Rancor. They also puppeteer Grogu. So because they created one or many of the Grogu puppets, because they're what they said in this panel, which I thought was really interesting, and I was like, "Wow, what the luck of working there." Because they created the puppets, they know how to puppeteer them appropriately and how everything works, and if something goes wrong, how to fix it in the moment. So like a great story Chris had told was that um they don't just work on the set as like the puppeteers, but they're also helping him get in his costume and fixing things and all that stuff. So it's like they've got 6, 7 jobs on set, not just playing the characters that they play. They're, like, also fixing things and making sure different things are working right, so, like, if the left eye doesn't light up on C-3PO, they there can fix it, kinda thing. So, they also puppeteer many of the different versions of Grogu that they have, and one question, someone in the audience had, and I was like, "Oh, that's a good sneaky question," was, "What has it been like puppeteering a character that is growing and changing?" And they both, like, looked at each other and definitely went into, like, Disney volts and was like, "Don't say anything, don't say anything." And I think their initial response was, "You'll find out May 22nd."
Yeah.
And then they added on, like, "Yes, he's definitely changed and grown." And you will so that what it told us is, like, we're gonna see Grogu do a lot more than what he did in the first 3 seasons.
And
So
the way they just were like, May 22nd, May, and they
Yeah.
both were like, May 22nd, you'll see this answer. And
Yeah.
I thought that was really great. And then the woman next to who we don't know have her name, which I feel terrible.
I know, I'm gonna
She
look it up really quick, I feel so bad.
she was actually the puppeteer. Oh, wrong picture. I apologize. She was the puppeteer of Grogu at the Oscars a couple of
Yeah.
weeks ago. And there's a clip of her. I think someone has it where she's the one who picked up Grogu and left with him. And they're like, "Oh, she's stealing Grogu." I think someone recorded that video. But one of the things she said while they were rehearsing, they were like, hey, Grogu's gonna sit here. Oh, by the way, they only knew like 2 weeks before the Oscars that they were gonna do a bit, so they had to get him ready to go. And Conan O'Brien looked and said, "Does he clap?" And they were like, "No, he doesn't clap. We usually have rods that we put underneath him that will help us move his hands and clap. But he does not. He doesn't clap." And so the second rehearsal, he said, "Grogu, clap, clap." And then, that's when they did the whole bit of him trying to raise his hands and he can't clap. And that was it. And then they said what was really great was then after, the day of the Oscars, Conan O'Brien did the bit and he was ready to go. So I thought that was actually really funny. So yeah, did you get the name?
I'm looking.
Oh,
So
oh
sorry,
my God,
guys.
Grogu mentioned. Yes, Grogu mentioned. Of course, Grogu mentioned. I mean, he was everywhere. He was, yeah. There was a lot of Grogus as well at um, WonderCon. So
Yeah.
all right. Anyways,
Oh,
the
here it
other
is. Are you ready?
yes,
Okay, so Christine Gailey, Chris Barlett, Tamara Carlson Woodward, Jasper J. Anderson, Don Dininger,
yeah,
and Jacob Ronhouse. So Jake, yeah. Jake, who's a
okay,
good friend
gotcha.
as well,
Yeah,
who
okay.
plays
Thank
like some of the skeleton crew creatures.
and they've all worked on Star Wars. They've all worked on the shows, the movies. And then like Mary was saying, not only are they helping with the creatures and everything, they're also the the puppeteers. So they would
Yeah,
they would help, and then they like, we're ready to roll. Then they have to run and pick up their controls and get ready to start puppeteering whoever is going to be on set. So yeah, that was a great panel. That was a lot of
super
fun.
fun.
Learned a lot of cool things and a lot of tidbits here and there. But I think for me, the highlight was I got there. I was on Saturday, and you were like, "Craig Miller's here.
Oh, yeah.
Uh, let's go see him," because you saw him already
He
at
had a
LA.
booth.
He had a yeah. So he had a booth there, and you'd already met him at LA Comic Con. So I was able to walk up and talk to him. So he was in charge very early in Star Wars, and pretty much his job was to get the hype up for Star Wars back in 1976 and 1977. Um, and one thing he pointed out was he said back in the 70s, science fiction was the lowest genre in Hollywood. Like
No one would admit liking it. No adults would admit to liking
no
it.
adult would admit like science fiction in the 70s, which is weird to say now because everyone loves science fiction. But in this 1970s, it was like, oh, children. This is for children. This is a children's show. Like this is a children's movie. Who cares about science fiction? So their job was to get people hyped and ready for Star Wars. And here he is. His name is Craig Miller. He was there very early on. He had pictures and he was going to conventions. I forget what the first convention he went to. Um, and then the second convention was San Diego Comic Con. And they
I
literally
think it was Kansas.
was a Kansas. It was yeah, it was something. It
It
was
was
one of
Kansas
those
Comic-Con.
yeah. And it's really funny to hear like how he said, we had a picture, we had this, and like this picture right here is it was funny because it says like one like poster one,
$1.
yeah, $1. And it was like the first poster, and they're like, we're gonna release more posters. He goes, we never released another poster. This is the only one. So if you have this poster, it's worth like $4,000 or $5,000 now. Uh,
Mhm.
and there so many other incredible stories of like trying to get people hyped, trying to get people to love this thing. Mark Hamill went there. You can see the picture of Mark Hamill. No one knew who Mark Hamill really was, and they
Mhm.
in the day, if you had a big movie, you would send out your principal cast. You'd send out your, Al Pacino, De Niro, Brain
Night
on things like
shows.
that. Yeah, Night Show, the Today Show. But for Star Wars, the 3 main leads were unknown. So they couldn't just send Carrie Fisher on the Today Show or on the late night show and have her
Mhm.
talk about Star Wars, so
They
everybody's
didn't
gonna be
want them. They were like, "Who
yeah.
is that? We don't care."
Yeah, we
Yeah.
don't care about these people. And so he said we had to do things differently to get the hype level built for Star Wars.
Mhm.
And one of the things I never knew, which was Lippincott, whose name I've heard before in the lore of Star Wars in the early days, knew someone from Times magazine, and they had a full, just insane article about Star Wars because they had let them see it a couple of weeks before and they loved it. And they were like, this is going to be the biggest movie. This is going to be the biggest movie of the year. Everybody needs, so the hype level was there, but it was like, okay, we need to have people go and watch it. We can't
Yeah.
just have people, you know, it's cool if people like it, but people need to go and see it. And so if you look at the Times magazine, there was weirdly enough, there was a election in Israel, and somebody won, and it was a big deal that they won, and so they got pushed off the front cover of Time magazine because it was supposed to be Star Wars. But if you look in the corner, there's a little banner there, and it says "Inside the year's biggest movie." And they said that was when you open it there, that was Star Wars. And so the hype level was starting 2 weeks before because of that article, because Time magazine pretty much validated, like, hey, this is not just another science fiction movie. This is actually a really big deal. Um, what did he say? He was like, the movie opened, there's lines around the block. He says,
Yeah.
but everybody is the newscasters were not talking about the movie. They were talking about the lines. And he goes,
Yeah.
which
And
was
that was never done before. There were no
exact.
lines. That's why it was such a big deal. They're like, no movie has ever had this where like people were lined up to watch it and stuff because it wasn't people just watching it one time. They were coming
Mhm.
back to watch it again and again and wait 4 hours until the next showing and all those things because it
Yep.
only opened in 32 movies across the country or
Yep.
movie theaters. Sorry.
Yeah, can you imagine that 32 screens in the entire United States showed Star Wars when it opened? And of
Yeah.
course, we had seen, of course, the term blockbuster, which was Jaws created, which the line's
Hmm.
going around a lot. But with Jaws, it was people lining up to watch the movie, lining up for the showing that they had to go and watch the film and get a good seat. Star Wars, people were waiting out there 8 hours, 12 hours in advance and
4
paying back.
a.m. in the morning the day before.
And so
Wild.
local news stories were commenting, "Hey, people are out here waiting for this movie. This is kind of weird," but not talking about Star Wars. They were saying, "Yeah, it's Star Wars," but they weren't talking about the movie. They were just talking about the lines. They said, which also helped raise the hype level for people going
Mhm.
like, "Man, people are waiting in line to see this movie. What is this movie? Let's go watch it." So that's why Star Wars' box office, legacy was the way it was because people were slowly finding out about it throughout the weeks. That's why the gross just kept growing and growing and growing. And this guy's telling these stories, and I'm just sitting there like, this is incredible. Like
It
this
was the
guy,
fastest hour of your life, wasn't it?
yes, and
Okay.
it was one of the, and like when it ended, he was like, all right, I have to go now. You
Yeah,
heard people
they
go like,
stopped him. Yeah.
oh my,
So,
because yeah.
at LA Comic Con is the first time I got to see Craig Miller. He did not only just work on Star Wars, he also worked with Jim Henson. He did a lot of animation and stuff like that as well. His biggest role was marketing. How to market movies that people don't know about
Mhm.
before the time of the internet and like all these things, right? So the first one at LA Comic Con, he also went over his time, but he was the last. I think this is why he's always one of the last few panels and stuff because his panel was way later in the day. He
Oh
went
yeah.
over on his time at LA Comic Con, and everyone was like, "No, please keep going." And we all in the room convinced the next panel to push their panel time another 45 minutes late so he could keep going. It was great.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, so I love Craig Miller. He's got amazing stories.
The amount, yeah, it's one of those things, like, as he was talking, I'm like, "They need to do a documentary about this
Oh,
guy,"
oh
because
yeah.
it's weird now. Nowadays, it's so easy. What was the term he said? It's
Transmedia.
transmedia.
Yeah.
He goes, they were like,
Me and you right there. We're thinking the
yeah, yeah,
same
yeah.
thing.
Yeah, it was like I know it was a weird name, but now it's weird. But what was so interesting was transmedia is a term in the world of marketing where it's
Mhm.
like all these different things you can do to get your movie noticed, to get people to
This is how he
to
got
get
those lines around the
this.
block.
Yeah. And they were like, "What was the best use of transmedia you've ever seen?" And there was a panel of people, I think at LA Comic Con, or maybe it was San Diego Comic Con, huge marketing people for studios, and they all said Star Wars was the greatest example of transmedia, promotion and
Yes.
marketing. And he was like, "Here's
5.
the funny thing." He goes, "Here's the funny thing." He goes, "We didn't know what that word wasn't invented until later." He goes, "We were just making it up as we went. We were trying to get people excited for something that
About
we were
Star Wars.
excited." And
So, I think, like so that's why when people go, "No, the comic books and the books came out first." Well,
that's right.
technically, because they had already created the movie, and they used the books and the comics to get people excited and hyped for the movie, because before that, I think when they did, a marketing research, everyone saw the title Star Wars, and at that time was Vietnam was
Yep.
happening. So they're like, "What the heck is this? Is these movie stars going to Vietnam?" And that's what people thought Star Wars was. So they started doing as the movie was like going and being edited and everything like that. They're putting out comics and books, and they made a deal with Marvel because Marvel did not want Star Wars. At that point, Marvel was about to go bankrupt and stuff.
Which is
So
weird to
base
say now. Okay.
Wild, wild how things have changed. Never give up, guys. Never give up
Yeah,
on your
exactly.
dreams. But it was one of those things. They made a deal with Marvel. You don't have to pay for any of it. We will cover all the costs. You just got to publish it
Yep. We
and
just
stuff.
want our
And then,
name and stuff on it. Yeah.
correct. And if you choose to continue after this first, I think 10 like comic books, then you got to start paying us. And then that sure enough, so that's how why the books and the comics came out first was through this transmedia of like, we just got to get people to figure out what Star Wars is. We need them to know who Luke Skywalker is before they walk into the movie. So when people go into the movies and they say, "Well, I don't know anything about this movie," and blah blah blah, like people are already thinking about that ahead, right? Like you we did not walk it no one walked into the first Star Wars when it first came out not knowing who these people are unless someone, some their friend told them or they were reading the comics or they were reading the books and stuff. So I thought that was really amazing. Um I'll share one story. Okay, no, I'm going to share two. Just kidding. I'm going to
Go
share
for it.
two
Do it.
stories.
Do it.
One from the panel that really stood out to me was about Lee. She was a
Lee
female
Beckett.
f Yeah, she was a female sci-fi fiction writer and stuff, and her name was not recognizable. At that time, women did not get recognized in the science fiction field and stuff like that, in action or whatever. So her name, people never really knew if she was male or female because she would just write books, and then she started doing movies and stuff like that. Lucas, Star Wars asked her to come in to help write The Empire Strikes Back, right? And she walked in and they're like, "Who are you?" And she's like, "I'm Lee." And they're like, "Well, have you done movies?" And she's like, "Well, I've done this one and this and this and this." And they're like, "You're that Lee," and stuff like that. So they were all like blown away. And she did the first screenwrite of The Empire Strikes Back. Unfortunately, she passed away. And she was a mentor to Ray Bradbury. Wild. Wild. When she passed away, Ray Bradbury reached out to Craig and said, "Hey, I will do all the rewrites for this free of charge. I don't want any credit. I want you to keep Lee's name on it and stuff." And multiple other like writers sent in the same called Craig offering the same thing because she was so respected in the community and stuff. But to be Ray Bradbury's mentor, OMG.
Which is a
Wild.
wild sentence to say. And before you
The
go to
fact
the
that
next story,
we shook hands with a man who talked to Ray Bradbury on the phone.
and that was what was different was he goes, "I was friends with Ray, which is why he contacted me." And I was like,
Yeah.
and he just like kept talking, and you just see people in the audience going like, "Did he just say he knew Ray Brad? Like, what?"
Yeah.
And that I thought that was great. Okay, sorry. Then your next story.
Okay, so this next story he did not share in this panel. So what was really nice when we went up to the booth, I had gotten to the convention and I was hanging around, walking around, and I saw his booth waiting for James because he took forever to park.
Hey,
Yeah, forever.
it was a
And
lot busier on Saturday. I want everybody to know that it was a really busy Saturday. Okay, sorry.
so I went to the front, I grabbed James, I'm like, Craig Miller's here, we gotta go say hello. We go, we're shaking his hand, we're talking to him, and I'm like, "Are you doing the panel later?" And he's like, "Yes." I was like, "I met you at LA Comic Con. I'm a huge fan. I really respect." I even took some of the things you said at LA Comic Con and put it into my day job of marketing and building community and et cetera, et cetera. And I was like, and I just really wanted to come over here and shake your hand, sir. And he was like, "Oh yeah, absolutely." He's like, "Well, my next panel is gonna be really similar to the one you saw at LA. But I made this one more Star Wars focused. So maybe hopefully it's a little different." I was like, "Doesn't matter. So excited to see you later." James ends up buying his book, which I highly recommend. I don't know if you started reading it yet, James,
Not yet.
but he's sitting there, he's signing the book for James, etc. We walk away and I was like, we just met Star Wars like legacy and stuff like that. You wait till his panel. We get to his panel, everything like that. He does not tell the same story, not once, from LA Comic Con. It was all completely, he filled a whole nother hour of just Star Wars stuff. I really wish he had showed his picture of him and his now wife, at that time girlfriend, with all the Muppets and Jim Henson in this
Oh,
like really, it was really great. The one story he shared at LA Comic Con he didn't share here. He was on the set of Dagobah. They had their wrap party after the movie was done on the set of Dagobah. So on Dagobah, everyone who worked on the film is hanging out, having their little like cardboard little box of lunch and stuff, hanging out and talking and drinking and stuff like that. And the pictures are so great because you just see Yoda sitting in the corner on like doing his little meditation sit, the puppet and stuff while everyone around him is just like drinking and having a good time. And I was so hoping he was gonna share that this time because it's such a great picture and a great
I'm
story.
I'm pretty sure it's in the book that I got.
It probably is, yeah.
And it's for me, it's fascinating. And as you know, we're talking about that. I can see. I wanted to hear all this guy's stories because
Oh,
it's
yeah.
crazy to meet somebody who was there at the beginning, who his job was to get Star Wars, and now look at us, like we have a podcast called Star Wars Stuff. We have Star Wars stuff. There was a time where nobody knew what any of it was, and it was his job and a few others to get people hyped about Star Wars
Yeah.
and to
He's
understand
still
what it
getting people hyped about Star Wars right now.
yeah.
Look at us.
Yeah, look at us. We're talking. Oh, here's a great story. This story I have never heard before. So, Gary Kurtz is in Japan
Oh,
doing a
yeah.
big promo for Star Wars. You know, this is like, I think 78 or 79. Star Wars was still showing in theaters. I think it was
Mhm.
70. Anyways, um, and he's in Japan. He's just doing this big tour through Japan. The press is following him everywhere, and he's going to all the showings of Star Wars and talking about the movie, doing press and everything. And they kept asking him, "What's the title for the new Star Wars movie? What's the title?" He goes, "We don't have a title." What? What?
Well, because everyone was calling it Star Wars 2,
Oh yeah, everyone kept calling
and
it Star
George
Wars.
hated that.
George was like, "This is not Star Wars 2." And so everyone was
We
like,
do
"Okay, well,
not call it that.
if George doesn't want us, to, what's the name of the movie? What's the name of the movie?"
Hey, he
And
didn't have one.
one day, out of frustration, out of being asked that question, Gary Kurtz turns to everybody and says, "The Empire Strikes Back." He just made up the title
And
of the
that's
movie,
where it came from.
and it got printed, it got everywhere, and that's where the title of Empire Strikes Back came from. Gary Kurtz being frustrated with the press. He
I
just made up the
really
title.
wanted to ask how pissed was George when that happened, or was he just like, "Yeah, that works"?
I'm pretty sure he was probably like, "Yeah, I think that works. That's good. That's good. I
I
guess."
don't know. I don't know. I'd be pissed.
Yeah, somebody just made up a title. Yeah, and it makes me
He
wonder if George Lucas maybe had a list of titles he would have wanted to call the
that
movie.
makes sense.
So that's
Yeah,
what
that makes
I
sense.
will never know. Oh, fun fact. So it was San Diego Comic Con. Craig Miller is there and they're promoting Empire Strikes Back. They said it was much bigger. We had a much bigger, display because the first one he showed was just like a little
A
box,
table
a table, which
that
is
people
weird.
have made little crafts art like
Yeah,
versions of it too.
because Star Wars was just at a table at a
Yeah.
convention once upon a time. Anyways, now there's a whole convention dedicated to Star Wars. Anyways, they're there. They have a miniature set of Dagobah and Yoda's hut, but Yoda was included on the
Yeah.
miniature. Yoda was not supposed to be seen before that, and they didn't know until everyone started coming in. So he's over here telling people, "Yeah, come in, look at the sets, look at everything," and he's like slowly walking backwards to block everybody. Reaches behind him and picks up Yoda and puts him in his pocket so nobody can see.
Wild.
Which I was like, "That's a great story." So yeah,
Love
this
it.
Lucasfilm, Disney, we need a whole documentary about
About
this
Craig Miller.
about Craig
I
because this is great. This is stuff that fascinates me. What was Star Wars before Star Wars? And the reason
mhm.
we are with Star Wars to this day is because of him and a few others just put it out there for everybody to see and then said, "Come watch this movie." And here we
Yeah.
are.
Dude, Craig Miller, even like everything we're saying, I know we're fangirling over him so hard
Yeah.
right now, but it doesn't even like touch the surface. Like he's also the one who was like, you got to give these creatures names so that you
Yeah.
can make the toys and sell the toys of them, right? So you would not have creature names. You wouldn't know what a rancor is or anything. At that time it was like squid head and ugly face and all these other things is how they would refer to a lot of these creatures and stuff and aliens in Star Wars and stuff. He was the one who said, "We're going to sit down, we're going to give them all names. And then all the ones we're going to give names, we're going to make toys of and we're going to sell them." So all of you who are even like just toy fans owe Craig Miller a lot because you wouldn't
That's
have these
insane.
toys if he didn't give them names. Isn't that wild?
That blows me away. That
Oh,
that's
we didn't even get to the best part. So
what
he
was the
was
best
also the
part?
one who created the fan club.
Oh, yes, the Star Wars fan club. He created
So
that, which
yeah,
is insane that he did
he
that. Yeah.
created it and it was a loss. They would charge people $5 and they would get a card, they'd get all these things, they'd get newsletters all the time, things like that, contests. And he knew we're not going to make any money off of this. All it's going to do is because it was really important for Lucasfilm. And he even said this, and I was like, oh, the man reads the news. He was like, Lucasfilm, it's really important for them to have a connection with their fans.
Mm,
It has changed and gone up and down and roller coastered over the years,
yeah.
and he wholeheartedly admitted that, but he said, "But it's always been really important for Lucasfilm to touch base with the fans." So he created the fan club and stuff, knowing it would be a loss of money and everything like that, but it gave fans the opportunity to write and ask questions and all this stuff. So, like, if anybody wrote to a specific actor, they would forward that mail to them. He hired a team of people to respond to fan mail when it was just addressed to Lucasfilm, like, "Hey, blah blah blah, can you send me a lightsaber? What's going to happen with this character? Can you tell me a little bit more about Boba Fett and
Mhm.
stuff? Why did you pick his armor to look like that?" Right? People, all those stuff, and if they would ask for autographs, they would send 8x10s to the actors and actresses to sign and send back. But if you asked for Darth Vader, and he said he would get a lot of Darth Vader fan email or emails, fan mail and stuff like that. If they asked for the voice, they asked for Earl Jones, they would send it to Earl Jones. If they asked for, I'm sorry, what's his name?
David Prowse.
David Prowse. For David Prowse, they would send to David Prowse. But if they just address it to Darth Vader, he would be the one to sign as Darth Vader. So if you got a signed picture of Darth Vader between 79 to 81, that was actually Craig Miller's signature. So he made the joke. He's all like, Earl's his voice, David is his body, but I'm his signature.
Yep.
And then I immediately went like this to James. I'm like, "You have Darth Vader's signature in your
Yep.
book." And he's like, "No, I don't." I was like, and he was like, "Wait, yes, I do.
Yeah, I was like, "Wait, yeah, you're right. Darth Vader signed my book." Yeah.
Darth Vader signed your book."
My one of my favorite stories he told was they introduced because of the fan club that this
Uh,
1-800 number to
oh, yeah.
call to call and get information about Star Wars. which
Yeah.
nowadays it's unheard of, but back in the day that was pretty cool. He said we opened it, and within a day or two, they completely crashed. Weirdly enough, the 1-800 uh, line. Oh, yeah, thank you so much, Crystal. But yeah, the
Crystal, you're so
1-800
nice.
line across the United States crashed because everyone was calling the 1-800 number to talk to Star Wars, and they were like, "Hey, guys, this is crazy. You're ruining everyone else's thing and blah, 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 blah," and he
And they
put
didn't
out
even advertise it. That was wild.
no,
They didn't advertise this line.
they just it was if you're in the fan club,
Mhm.
this you have access to this. We're not showing it to anyone else but to y'all. Um, and he said that we put out a statement apologizing
The phone
for
company
taking.
made them.
Oh yeah, the phone company said you need to apologize for what
Yeah.
you did, and he said all we did was apologize for clogging up all the circuits.
And
He
then it
said,
got worse because then
yeah,
now people knew about it.
because people are like, how, what do you mean? What did they clog the
I'm
circuits? Yeah, just like that little bit of not telling anybody what it was, but just being like, okay, sorry guys, we did clog up all the circuits. We apologize
yeah.
for that.
Bruh. If those lines still existed, who would you call? Because it wasn't just like you got to call and talk to somebody. No, it's like you called there was multiple lines
Hmm.
and each one led to a different character. So you can call Princess Leia and get a
Yeah.
recording. You can
Yep.
call Darth Vader. You can call all these people. So who would you have called?
I would have called at that time. I believe I would have called Vader and Han Solo if I was.
Oh,
Those probably would have been the main people because they were my favorite characters in Star Wars was Vader and Han Solo.
yeah.
So Leia, of course, took over years and years later when I fully appreciated the
Yeah.
character. But yeah, as a what about you?
I would have called Leia and then I would
Yeah,
have called Han Solo.
nice.
Yeah.
Sorry,
Probably
Luke.
Vader. Shut up. I would have called all of them.
I would have called them all. I would have like, oh, who are we gonna call next? I
Yeah.
remember as a
If
kid, I had an action figure that had a 1-800 number on, and I called it. My mom and dad were really upset at me for doing
oh.
because they were like, "What do you mean you called? You can't. They charge us for this." And I was like, "Whoops, I didn't know. I, I just got a
No, I'm
Star
a
Wars toy."
child.
Yeah,
I'm
I'm
a
a
child
kid.
with access to the phone.
I was like 5 or 6 years old. I was like, "This is amazing. I can call these people." And yeah, definitely call all of them. Exactly. Yeah,
Yeah.
Crystal knows what's up.
Yeah.
But
If you're also watching or listening and stuff like that, message. Tell us who you guys would have called. Who would you
yeah,
have
those,
helped clog all the lines up with
yeah,
calling?
exactly. Which is such a great story. And here he
Yeah.
is with his panel. He's
Mark Hamill would go to the Comic
yeah,
Cons and stuff and get people hyped. And he would say Mark had a lot of high energy and stuff and everything. So he would go and he would talk. He would like literally run around the con talking to people about Star Wars, like come over to the booth, blah, 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 all this
which
stuff and
which
everything.
can you imagine a time if you know what I mean? Like
Little baby
Mark
Mark Hamill.
baby Mark Hamill, nobody he did a TV show. Like he was somebody, but nobody that big at that point.
Yeah.
Just going around a convention, going around WonderCon saying, "Hey guys, I got this movie coming out soon called Star Wars. You want to come to our booth?" And we'll be like, "Oh, okay." What that is the craziest thing to think about. Now we're actually going to go meet Mark Hamill in a couple of months, and we had to pay a lot of money to do this. And it's
Okay.
like,
Well,
it's not
hold
just
on.
us. No, 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 I know.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's
Calm
not
down.
just us doing it. How many other people are also like, I have to go see Mark Hamill, and I'm gonna. But just think about it.
It's
Once
sold
upon a
out.
time,
It's already sold out.
it's already. Oh, okay. So we got lucky.
So, yeah, yeah.
Gotcha.
So, if you don't know, Mark Hamill will be in Anaheim in June. So,
Yes.
there's different packages. The ultimate experience includes a photo op, signed 8 by 10, a lanyard. He's doing a panel. They're calling it Mark Hamill Live. So the ultimate one gets you all of that. It gets up to 4 people in the photo op. So, the Star Wars Stuff podcast and friends will be those 4 people and we split the cost. So we made it
Yes.
affordable. I was going to say like if there was still availability, I don't know if they'll open up more. A good option is to do that if you want to get a picture with you and your friends with Mark Hamill,
Yes.
right?
But
But there is still availability to buy a ticket to his panel and stuff, which is only $31.
so saying all that, once upon a
Yes.
time, Mark Hamill was just going around conventions telling people about a movie called
Begging
Star Wars.
them. Begging
Yes.
them.
That for me, I'm like, "That's insane." That
Yeah.
you can never like, now like, look at Star Wars now, that can never happen, um, to this day. Oh, one of my favorite. I don't have the picture here, but he had a picture of, he said when they were on this they were he goes he went to Europe when they were filming Empire Strikes Back, and he says, people were asking for pictures of the cast and the crew, and they said we took a lot of pictures, and then they took one, and everybody signed it. It was Gary Kurtz, and I believe it was David
Oh,
Prowse, Jeremy Bullock as Boba Fett, and somebody, and one another
Christopher
bounty
Irvin.
hunter, and then Irvin Kershner,
Irvin
and Irvin
Kershner.
Kershner signs it and puts me, and he like points an arrow
I
like
think
this.
safe to say everyone was in their costumes.
Yes,
Obviously,
yeah,
everyone was in
everyone's in
their
their costume.
costumes. He obviously was not in a costume and stuff, which
It's
makes
just
this so amazing. Yeah.
but he had a picture with him. He was like, "Oh, that's me." He goes, "It was him, Gary Kurtz, and Irvin Kershner," and I'm like, "You,"
Robert.
and I'm like, I was like, "I shook this guy's hand who
Yeah.
met Irvin Kershner."
You
That
shook you shook the
is
hand of a man who would talk to George Lucas on a daily basis.
that's insane.
Mhm.
I shook hands with a guy who had his office in Gary Kurtz's office. He said, "This is
Mhm.
Gary Kurtz's office." He goes, "In the corner was where I had all my stuff that I was using while they were shooting Empire Strikes Back." And I'm like, "This is," and then he was like, "All right, guys, I gotta go." And hear everybody going like, "What, dude?
Yeah.
Keep going! Like, we
Yeah.
want to hear all of this." So, Lucasfilm, Disney, do a
Show the
documentary.
book. Show the
Show the.
book.
I don't.
If
Okay,
you
give me
guys
a sec. Entertain people. I'll be right back.
Okay, got it. Um, James will show you guys the book. So if you guys want to get the book with all these stories and probably a ton more and a lot of great photos of all these things. Another great story he shared at this last panel too that I thought was so funny. It inspired me on the last day of WonderCon. He was in England working at one point and they had a bunch of movie like film cells from edits, et cetera, all those things. And they're like, oh, you're going back to LA, you're going home, take these with you. Um, so he had thousands and thousands of movie cells from the Star Wars, from the Empire Strikes Back. And he's going through customs and they were like, this guy's got 50, 60 pounds of like carry on and stuff. And they were for sure, like he said, with the amount of stuff I was bringing back, they thought I was for sure sneaking something in kind of thing to sell or whatnot. So they were trying to get him on something. So they opened it up and they're like, oh, well, we're going to charge you the duty because it's international. And he like lied to them and it was like, no, it's Kodak. It's from the US. So you can't charge me duty on that. And they're like, well, and stuff like that, all said and done. But it took him 2.5 hours to get through customs. It was like two customs agent, a supervisor to let him through, and he ended up paying $10 in duties to be able to get all these movie cells through. But once he said that story and everything like that, the last day on Sunday, I got to go back to WonderCon with my husband Austin, and we were like walking around and everything, and we found a booth that was selling movie cells and
Wow.
stuff. I bought 6 of them and everything, and they're all like Star Wars, and they come in this like really nice case and everything with a little description and everything on the back. Oh, you have this. You have the Titanic ones. No
The
one cares about
Titanic.
that. Nobody cares about Titanic. That's the book.
Yeah,
Star
so if
Wars
you're watching on
memories.
YouTube, yeah, Star Wars Memories, My Time in the Death Star Trenches, Craig Miller, forward by Gary Kurtz. And other people involved in Star Wars have also like written about this. And yeah, I am super excited to read this. Oh, I forgot. I should have taken a picture. I can't show it on here because it will not look good. But the picture that Ralph McQuarrie drew of
Oh
Luke
yeah.
Skywalker in the trench, and you see the two X-wing pilot, the two Tie Fighter and Vader flying behind him. I was like, that's pretty cool. Um, yeah, that was for me the highlight of WonderCon. And like I said, this convention was one of those things that I'm like, yeah, okay, we'll see how it is. And I got this incredible Star Wars experience. And surprise celebration hasn't like brought him on. You know what I mean? Like,
You know
wow,
what? I wonder if he's done some past ones
Mhm.
Because he's down. Obviously, like, he was at LA, he was at WonderCon. I would not be surprised if he's not at this next celebration, because he is local to LA.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I think he should they
He'll
should
pro
let
at
him have
least have
it
a
inside.
booth.
Yeah, most definitely, because he was there for
Yeah.
the 50 years, you know, 50 years ago, now this dude was most likely already looking for ways to promote this movie that was gonna come out, you know, in 1977.
Yeah.
Um, I wanted to share this
I'll show you
picture.
guys
This
the
is
cells.
us. This is
Oh, it's
us.
us?
It's us.
Hey!
Hey, look at us there in front of the wall at WonderCon,
I said,
and
"James, come here, let's take a picture."
what's really funny, it was there was, like, 3 different walls that you could do this,
Yeah.
like yeah, I was like, "Oh, okay." So, yeah, there we are. That's what we look like at WonderCon. So, yeah. Yeah,
Uh,
my hair is short. I know. Alright,
look,
sorry.
I feel like we're twinning. So this is one of the cells. I don't know if you guys can see it, if there's not enough light.
Oh, okay, we can see bring it
Oh,
down a little bit. There you go. Yeah, you can see Obi-Wan Kenobi there.
Alec Guinness. So that's a movie cell. And then on the back, you can see it has like information about everything.
That's
This
dope.
is another good one.
Is
So I
it
got one from like
I can't see what it I oh, is it,
sad. Wait, hold on.
I'll
Hold
see,
on.
don't
Hold on. Can you see
oh
it
my gosh.
now?
Well, could you stay still? Bring it down a little bit? Nope, can't make it out. What is it? Oh, wait, is that
Wait.
Luke in the, or that's somebody in an X-Wing.
It's Luke in the X-Wing.
Oh, okay, okay, now I can see it. It's difficult, but I can see what it is.
I'm a fancy LED light.
I like your yeah, I like your little lightsaber you got there. But
Oh,
it was
I was like, "No, it's too much work to try to get a
yeah,
lightsaber
no,
to
no.
hold behind it."
But overall, it was a great convention, and
Yeah.
set the tone, I got this guy when I walked in, like, immediately, which is if you've seen Project Hail Mary, you know exactly what this is, and, I was really, really happy I found that. Um, yeah, it was great. Do you have another one? You have another one? Or is
I
it the
have
same one?
6.
Okay, show them all.
No, some of them no, it's just, like, too hard.
Oh,
Hold
okay,
on.
okay, well, on Pa
Let me
no, no,
see.
do a Patreon, and then
Yeah,
show the
yeah.
rest of them.
I'll get a light behind it, I'll take pictures, I'll put them on Patreon.
Thank you.
So, join Patreon, guys, and you get to
On
see them.
Patreon if you wanna see. And then what
Join
I'm
Patreon.
actually I'm reading a few books right now, but I'm gonna read this one, and then I might on Patreon do a review of it and get all that it's so, fun fact, this picture of the Chinese theater of,
Oh, yeah.
all the crowd there that we've all been seeing for, like, our whole lives, he goes, "This is actually a cheat." He goes, "This is when they did the footprints
Yeah.
ceremony at the
Was
Chinese
not
theater."
the actual release.
I never knew that. When he said that, I was
Nope.
like, "Oh my gosh, this picture I've been seeing for my whole life about how big Star Wars was when it opened was not the opening of Star Wars. It was when they did the footprints at the Chinese theater." So,
Yeah.
fun fact.
So did overall, had a great WonderCon experience?
Oh, yeah. It
Yeah.
I wanna next year, definitely gonna do it again because it was so much fun. It was so and
It
then just
was.
seeing the different fandoms, seeing the different, communities that were all there, and
Yeah.
it was so cool.
Yeah, like, I think people get intimidated, number 1, of like, "Well, I love Star Wars. Is there gonna be enough Star Wars stuff for me to be entertained?" Well, 2 Star Wars nerds right here cannot stop talking about just even
Exactly.
one panel, right? So, like, it's super worth it to go if you only enjoy one fandom. If you just enjoy, like, creativity and stuff like that, like, so much to see, so much to do. If you like collecting stuff, oh man, were the exhibitors, vendors so much. I have new art, if you guys can't see, on my
Yep.
walls and stuff.
And
So
and she did that within 3 minutes of us getting
2
into the
minutes.
convention. 2 minutes. We literally
Again, I was
walked
waiting for James.
we walked down the alley, and then she goes, "Oh my gosh," and then she bought it, and I was like, "Okay." I was like, "Pace yourself. We just
Hold
got
on.
here."
Hold
And yeah.
on. So I love very specific art. I really love Star
Oh,
Wars art, and I really love, like, romance, women inspired art. So we're literally walking by the booth, and James I stop and it catches my eye, and we turn around and we walk back, and James goes, "Yeah, I saw that." And I was like, "Yeah, that looks like the art she has on her wall." and stuff. So I'm not surprised, like, you instantly got that, and he was like, "We've been here for 3 minutes." And I was like, "Yeah, for sure.
And we are and
If I see it, I want it."
I almost dropped 60 something dollars on some
Oh,
Batman
yeah.
Returns toys,
So many
and
Hot Wheel toys everywhere.
yep,
So many
Hot Wheels
Black
toys,
Series toys everywhere.
a lot of there was a lot of Star Wars toys that so, like, if you're looking for if you go to these conventions, you're like, "I just wanna, look around, look at all the trinkets," there and you're a Star Wars fan, this was perfect because there were so many Star Wars booths, so many Star Wars toys for sale,
So
and,
much.
it
Funko
was
Pops,
oh, Funko man,
pins,
Funko Pops are gonna
stickers.
be there forever, and, if you go to our website, I wrote 2 articles about the convention, the
Yep.
first and the second day. Unfortunately wasn't able to go yesterday, but Mary did go,
Yeah.
and, it's so much fun. When it comes around next time, I think they already have the dates
Yeah.
for next year.
Yep.
Let me
A couple
sorry.
other things, like, real quick, we didn't get to attend these because they were just, like, way too late in the evening or, it was really booked up. Also, if you're a fan of, like, cosplays and everything like that, Her Universe, Ashley Eckstein, does
Oh,
a costume contest at WonderCon. So the one that you see sometimes, like, sometimes it's WonderCon, sometimes it's, like, D23, where, basically WonderCon, you come in your cosplay, Her Universe, everything like that, and she's, like, one of the judges of, like, the costume contest, and you get to, like, go into a separate room and do a press room, etcetera, things like that. So, like, if you're super into that, you just wanna be participate or spectate and stuff like that, that's an option there too. And you get to meet the voice of Ahsoka.
and you get to meet and Her Universe is a great brand. There's
Oh,
also it's not just so you know, there's a she does a Her Universe, a His Universe, and an Our
mhm.
Universe. So don't
Yeah.
think like, "Oh,
It's
I'm a
just
man,
women, no.
I can't." No, trust me, I have her, that button-up short sleeve with all the
Oh, yeah.
poster. That's from, Our
Her uni
Universe, which I'm like, "This is cool." Yeah, when I first
Yeah.
heard about it, I was a little like I was like, "Eh," but then when I saw the other shirts, she puts out, I was like, "I need to jump in on this now."
Yeah. Austin has quite a few pieces from or his universe, Her Universe as well
Mhm.
and
Yeah,
stuff.
so
They have these I don't know, Crystal, if you're still watching, you might be interested in these. She has right now these really she had them earlier in the year too. It was like these lightsaber hair like chopstick hairpins. Right now she has the Darth Maul ones. They're so stinking cute.
you gotta get them.
I Oh, yeah,
Okay, making sure.
yeah, and stuff.
But,
But they're so, so cute.
so next year, the dates are not there, that was my mistake. I did remember seeing dates for already 2027, I can't
Dirty,
find it.
dirty
I
liar.
know I'm a liar, but, when it comes up next year, go. Go. If you're in the LA area, if you're in the Pasadena area, go to this convention. It is amazing. It's a
Anaheim,
lot of fun, yeah, especially if you're in Anaheim. Um,
San
yeah,
Gabriel Valley.
it was so great.
Yep.
And next convention is where we got,
Space Con.
asked to
No,
help
Level Up.
level up. Yeah,
Level Up.
of one of the, oh my gosh,
Legion
I could not
Sabers.
Legions I was like, "What was I?" Legion Sabers invited us to go and, join them at Level Up in Las Vegas, so that is gonna be a lot of fun.
David
Um,
and I will be there podcasting live from the booth.
yes, live from the booth, you'll see them there. Um, I may show up a day, I don't know yet because it is a 4-hour drive, so it's like, maybe
Fly. It's a 30-minute flight and it's cheaper than gas and parking your car, my dude.
anyways, and then after that is Space Con.
Where
And
we'll
oh, no, no,
all be
before
there.
that is it Fan Ex no, no, SpaceCon, then Fan Expo after
Mhm.
that,
And
and
then
then
San Diego Comic-Con.
maybe San Diego Comic-Con?
Ted, are you listening?
And yeah.
Ted?
Well, we did get told some news about that, and so it's like one of those things that we're still kinda holding out hope that
Yeah.
might happen,
And then after
but
that, Rebel Scum Con.
yep, in Dallas, Texas, which that convention is growing insanely big every year, so shout out to the, showrunners of that because that thing is growing every single time, they
You
but yeah.
You know what else we haven't mentioned that's coming up
What's
real soon? Okay, things that are on our radar that we want to do for you guys. James and I live locally in LA.
Oh, yeah, we do.
Correct. So, one thing is Celebration is going to be in LA. Tickets
Yes,
for Celebration are going to go on sale real soon. Real
very
soon.
soon.
I think when I looked in my old emails to see when I got tickets for last Celebration, it was May. So I'm assuming they're going to make some announcements in these next couple of weeks for Celebration. So we'll probably do a podcast pretty soon about how to get tickets, why to get tickets, things like that. And then James and I will realistically do a when you come to LA podcast, where to
Yeah.
stay, where not to stay, transportation, things like that. Because LA is pretty big and pretty wild, but it's also really small. Um, so there's a lot that we would go over and stuff,
Yes.
including transportation and where to stay, which I think are always like the two biggest things. Also, like if you're on a budget kind of thing, where to stay. Don't stay in Hollywood.
Don't stay in Hollywood. Even though I
Don't,
live in Hollywood, do not
yeah.
stay in Hollywood. It's not. It's this is I've talked about it before. On a normal day, it could take me 8 or 9 minutes to get from the 101 to the 110 and then to the
They
convention
don't
center.
know where that
I
is.
know, but just letting you know, it's a
How many
couple of main
miles is
roads here.
it?
It's like it has to be something like 5 or 6 miles.
Okay, so the 110 is where the Walt Disney Concert Hall and the 101 meet, right?
Yeah.
Is where the Walt Disney. So from there to my La Brea store is 6 miles.
So, yeah,
So
maybe
yeah,
a little
6
less.
miles. So if I'm working at one of my locations for my day job that's in Hollywood, and I'm going from there to where the Walt Disney Concert Hall, which is 6 miles away, it takes me 45 minutes.
Yeah.
Easy.
That's the one thing that we're gonna help you with about where to stay when you're here because you can say it will clearly say, "Oh, it's only 6 miles away from the
Six
convention
miles
hall."
ain't 6 miles.
You in California, you don't measure it by the miles, it's the
You measure it
time, is
by
what you measure.
time.
So
So what's really funny is like I live in the San Gabriel Valley, which is what 30 miles from Hollywood.
mhm,
If I take public transportation, which is the metro system, it'll take me 45 minutes to an hour max to get from my house to the right across the street from the LA Convention Center. If I wanted to drive it, it would take me an hour and a half
yep.
to 2 hours.
So, we say all that to say when the time is near, we will discuss where the best place to stay for celebration is,
Where the
and
closest metro line
yeah,
is,
and yeah,
etc.
look for that
Where
one,
to
and we'll
eat.
and I mean, that's not really an issue. There's a lot of great places here to eat.
Yeah, but you can also get a burger for $45 or you can go to In-N-Out and get a burger for $9.
Don't go to In-N-Out.
Go
Anyways,
to In-N-Out.
on that note, thank y'all so much for listening. This was a lot of fun. The convention was great. We had a shout out to WonderCon
Thank you,
for
WonderCon.
inviting us to go and we had a blast and I cannot wait for next year's and I honestly can't wait for the next conventions we're going to be doing. So yeah, check us out on what's up.
I was gonna say I feel like SpaceCon is like the group text making it out of the group text. Literally all of us will be there.
Yes, that's
The
right.
group text is making it out of the group text. We're
We're
all
all
gonna
finally
be
going to be hanging
together
out at
in
Space
person,
That's
having
really
movie nights.
talking about Star Wars. But yeah, check out spacecon san antonio.com. I got the link there on the page. Check us out on Instagram, Star Wars Stuff Pod, on X Stuff Pod. Like I said, if you go to our website, which I thought was listed here, but maybe it's not. That's exciting. If you go to our website, you'll see that I did
It
write. Oh, there it
is.
is.
I've seen
There it
it.
is. There it is. If you go to our website, you'll see the 2 articles I wrote and some of the pictures I posted about the convention and a lot of fun. Also, yeah, Instagram, we've been uploading pictures and everything. And yeah, If you want to support us on Patreon, we're going to be putting out some stuff here very soon. Like I said, I'll
I
probably
will
be doing
say for
what's up.
Patreon, if you do support us on Patreon, what it ends up doing is just going right back to you guys. So David
Oh
does a really great job of like buying stuff, like Star Wars stuff to give away at booths, at cons and everything like that. So it really, really is a great way to support to just go right back to you guys and stuff
yeah,
like that. So do
yeah.
it.
Please and
Thanks.
and thanks. And if you want to email us, starstuffpodcast@gmail.com. Check us
Only
out if
weird
it's
questions.
just the weirdest questions you could possibly think of. And if you're listening
Anything and
to us
everything that's super weird.
on
David
Apple
really
Podcasts,
appreciates it.
yeah, he tells us to. If you're listening to
Yeah.
us on Apple Podcasts, please leave us a 5-star rating as well as give us a review. If you're listening on Spotify, give us a thumbs up. Listening on YouTube, give us a thumbs up. It helps us out with everything.
But if you
And
don't like us, don't leave anything. Just close
please
the
don't. Yeah,
window.
just be like, I'm not gonna listen
Just
to these
close the
guys anymore.
window. Just
But
be like, we're done.
but again, thank you so much for listening, and we'll be back again with another great topic. And may the force be
Oh,
with you always.
we love you too, Crystal.
And we have to have a Crystal on one of these days. I keep
Oh,
saying
I
it.
know.
Crystal, we'll all hang out one day very soon. All right. Well, y'all, we'll see y'all later.
Oh,
Take care.
bye.